Welcome all to the unboxing of the Woodfast WL3040, aka Big Willy. Already done little Willy. He's been in action and made a couple of things. Now Big Willy is currently sitting on a pallet on 4 caster wheels, so I can move him around, and he's roughly in the position he is going to be in. So that little batch of power points there is the only spot where I have a 15 amp power point. So this is where he had to go. So what I've done so far, which you may have been following along on some of the pictures I've put up, is I've gone from a bare wall and I've clad it with pallet boards, put a lick of recycled leftover paint on it. I'll put some insulation in behind it, so I've got to do this little bit here to the door yet, just to finish it off. And I'll possibly relocate my air compressor, because if I want to use the air, having it sitting right alongside my left ear may be a little bit irritating. So we will move along and start with the unboxing. The two tools I'm going to use to start with are my fold-up box cutter and my trusty impact wrench. First move made. Exciting. I actually have no idea how this is going to come off, whether I can undo the screws down the bottom here and lift the box off, or whether I've got to dismantle the whole box. I'm now armed with my trusty Stanley knife, Australian term, utility knife, box cutter, depending where you are is what you call it, I guess. Get the plastic off Big Willy. In this case, I don't have a box on the floor. I'm just dropping the plastic. Oh, there he is. Woodfast WL3040A. There's a few bolts and nuts on there to unbolt the legs and unscrew the legs, and then an engine crane to lift it off the pallet, hold it while the legs get bolted on, and that's pretty much where it's going to sit. So as it's situated there now, that's pretty much exactly where it's going to be. So we've got a little box of tricks. Bit of weight in that too. I'd imagine that's all the bolts for bolting them together, etc. Instructions. They go down with the stuff on the floor there. Oh, another little Oh, many more tools in this pencil case. Look at that. There's lots in there. I wonder if they're giving me a spanner to fit the... No. Do we have an Allen key to fit underneath though? Yes. Very good. So they're not 19mm and they're not 17mm, so that leaves the bit in the middle, doesn't it? I wonder if it's got that little pin like was in the other one in here as well. Yep, here we go, look. I rang Jim Carroll, asked him what it was, and he said he didn't know, and that it comes with all of the Woodfast lathes. So if anybody knows what it is, drop a comment on this video. Big knockout bar, a couple of spanners, tool rest, I'd say that looks like a tool rest extension maybe, who knows. Be a crank handle for the tailstock wheel, I'd imagine, and a few other little bits and pieces. Oh, it's probably a tool rest extension for when you've got the bed back so that you bring the tool up. And what have we got in here? A cone live centre. Spur drive. A few other little plates and bits and pieces which I'm sure are to do with the assembly. I opened that, by the way, off camera. So it's 3-speed. So this is indeed 18mm. These bolts look like they're the same size as the ones sitting in the pencil case, so they may actually also be part of what I need to assemble them. I've got a washer on it, just to be different. There you go, the legs are unbolted. There's also a couple of little screw-on tabs at the bottom of the legs, holding them on. Gotta say, it's pretty well packaged in. all bolted together, nothing was going to move around too much. Little tabs just to hold it down. Here's my back. I can edit it out, I suppose, if it looks too bad. Or I can just let you all suffer. Well, that's fairly chunky too. So the sticker on the top of here says removal of the bolts requires the 10mm hex wrench, which I used, and a 19mm wrench, but they telling fibs, it was an 18mm. $19mm was way too loose. That's actually heavy enough that out of position it puts a bit of strain on. That's a pretty serious banjo. Nice little compartment for the tools, for the tailstock, live centre and the drive centre. We do have a little faceplate on there. Considering the size of the lathe, see what the go is with bolting it all together. But the plan is to lift it up and pull out the pallet that's sitting there, and also try and wheel out the big pallet that's got the wheels on it, and then bolt the legs on and gently put it back down. That's the plan anyway. Good morning everyone. Sunday morning here. We have a power outage, which is always handy, so it's a little bit darker in the shed than what I'd normally have it. Engine crane is here and I've got it in place. I've got to get some straps on, work out where my balance point is. Lift it up in a little while. But I've just had a read of the instructions. There's some rubber feet in the box, I think. I haven't actually double checked the box yet to make sure, but to go on the bottom of the legs so they're non-slip. And so I'll do that off camera, just get everything tied on ready, and then I'll start up again. So just a quick look, so little rubber footings for the bottom with stick on. So I'll be whacking those on. That'll just give it a little bit of cushioning, I guess, and stop vibration of the lathe. Okay, so I've got Big Willy rigged up. What I've done is I've used the banjo to be able to separate my two straps, and I've used the tailstock to assist in balancing it. So as it turned out, I got it right with the tailstock right at the end, so it works out that if I initially, before I put the banjo in between the two straps, it was very headstock heavy, wanting to go that way, and I couldn't get the tailstock to Sorry, it's tailstock heavy, and I pulled it right in, it wasn't enough, so I just made a few adjustments there, put the banjo in between the two lots of straps, and now it's nicely balanced. So I've just got to sort out, make sure I've got all my bolts ready and the spanners ready, and I'll go from there, start back up. So we'll start, I think potentially the most difficult part of this whole exercise is going to be getting that big wheeled pallet out from underneath, but we'll see how we go with that. So Willy's still quite happily there at the minute. Moving the plastic. Oh, it might be a bit easier than I thought it was going to be. There we go. For position. Probably a little bit further out from the wall maybe. Pretty good. So 400 to the edge of the bed, and it's 400 to the edge of the bed. I'm just going to make sure under the leg is as clean as I can have it. So, not quite sitting firmly there. It's not much, but it's not quite firm. Okay, so that's got him, he's sitting firm now. What I did was I made a plastic shim under the foot out of a side of an ice cream container. Now the one last thing to check, level across. And it's level up and down, so that's Big Willy in position. So although he's in position, I still don't have any power. So I'll come back later when I've got power back on, and we will be able to have a look and see how things move and work and that sort of thing. I just got to bolt on, there's a couple of little bits and pieces to bolt on, and reading through the manual, I haven't actually found out what that little pin's for, but it stores inside the tailstock, if that's helpful. So just a few other little bits and pieces to put on. The handle for the quill wheel. And we have a cone centre. And somewhere in here there was a spare drive. There we go. Should fit in the middle of the little faceplate there. And it said in the book that they were factory aligned. And I reckon I'd take their word for that. So in the tailstock tool holder, which I like, there's the little mystery pin. When I was looking in the book, the little mystery pin being this one. I'll just check that I'm... The book shows it sitting in there. So, still doesn't help for what it's for, but it's got a place. Knockout bar. Stir drive. Tail centre. Live centre. Tail centre. Okie dokie. Alright, well that's Big Willy essentially in position, checked, not plugged in yet because I've got no power. So we will have something up and running soon, I think. Worst comes to worst, I've got a generator out there. Okay, it's now Sunday afternoon. So we had a power outage this morning early, and while that was going on I had nothing else I could do, so I came out and finished bolting Big Willy together. But of course, because we had a power outage, I couldn't do anything else other than just basically bolt him together. So the only thing I've done that I didn't video is put the tool rack on, and I've pulled the control box. So we've got a magnetic control box. You can set it wherever you're working. So that's quite handy. The there's some silver glide under there. The banjo is quite a big chunky unit. The tailstock, I reckon, on its own weighs more than what my other lathes do. So that's, now this has got, it was still going, 5 inches or 125 millimeters of quill travel. Probably the only thing I would have said I was at all disappointed about with this, and I'm not even sure where I put it, is I thought a lathe this size would possibly come with a 6-inch faceplate, but it doesn't. It comes with, I reckon it's only a 3-inch. Yeah, just over 3 inch, so 3 and a quarter. I mean, it's still a perfectly utilitarian faceplate. We've got the spindle lock that's not a spindle lock there. So it's an indexing lock, not a spindle lock. Refers to it in both the Woodfast lathes, refer to that in the manual as a spindle lock, and then go on to say do not use it as a spindle lock, it's only for indexing. So we've got my 15 amp power point up here. The inverter box is behind with its own switch. I'm not sure whether that's an NVR or a so that's the locking handle for the belt. Up, pull it across, down to release, up to lock. It's a fairly substantial belt, inch wide, 3 speeds in there, access to the headstock bolts through the door there. If you have to align, I have checked the spindle alignment. The electronic bed. So we've got a locking handle over the back for the electronic bed. I'm just going to move you guys a little bit, don't get seasick. There we go. I do sweep sometimes. You can tell that by the fact that I have a broom. Alright, so this is actually the first time I've turned it on. So, has on at the switch. So he's on. He's on. 1000 RPM knot. So now, when I was looking over here, we've got reverse, off, forward. We've got the on-off switch, the speed dial, and the quick stop. So, and over the back, we have the locking lever for the electronic bed. So we'll put him into forward, push the green for go button. So that's on. I didn't actually take any notice when I was looking there before. That's the low speed. No, sorry, I lied. That's the high speed. So the bottom end of the top gear is 120 RPM. Not quite sure whether you can. Again, don't get seasick. That'll show up. Yeah, it should do. Maybe just. No, that's worse. There we go. So the slowest speed in the highest gear. So we can see in here, it's on the highest gear. (4,000 RPM), that's motoring along pretty well. I don't think I'll be turning any pens on this, so that might be a bit quick. So to change the belt speed, so this is the locking handle, so up like that is locked in, which has got the belt tension on. Release that to unlock the handle, and it unlocks. Then to push the handle down releases the belt tension right off and lifts the motor up. Change the belt, back down, pull the handle up to put tension on, push the handle down to lock it in. Just eyeballing, make sure I had the belt on both pulleys correctly, and we'll have a look at the speed range in the middle gear. So 50 RPM. Up to 1800 RPM. So that's going to be perfectly adequate for most of what I intend to turn on this. and it's a very quick and easy job to switch it from into the high gear. I guess the only reason not to have it running in the high gear is to keep the torque up a bit more with the gearing, and at that speed range I'm not sure that I'd ever need to go into the low gear unless I had something extremely heavy on there. So the other feature of this lathe is it has the electronic moving bed, and when the bed's out it gives you a much bigger swing, and that's moved by this little lever down here. So we unlock it, and then you can stop it wherever you want. So it stops on its own. So when you're there, you have, it's called a 3040. So that should mean essentially 20 inches. So it's 16 inches to there. So 30, so 15. So it's just shy of 400 mil. So you're not quite 800 mil on a perfectly round and centered blank. So you're probably realistically saying you could turn, the lathe is capable of turning a bowl in the vicinity of 750 millimeters. But the bloke who owns the lathe has that same capability as yet to be seen. So down here we have a little indent in the bedway so that we can take the banjo off, move it down and put it on there to be working in that section with the banjo. I'm not going to do that at the moment because I'm going to wind the bed back in a moment. There are a couple of optional extras. When you have the banjo down there, we have this adapter to go on there to raise so you've got the tool rest up at the correct height. One of the optional extras you can get is a drop-in bed to sit in there, so you've got the bed all the way along, which if you're doing long spindle work would be very handy because you wouldn't have to move the banjo, put the thing to do this and then move the banjo back up on there and take the adapter off to do the other end. So if I've been going to be turning out here with the bed out like that, or in any position other than, or any position at all, you need to lock it down. So I'll unlock it again and we'll close it back up again. Now according to the manual, you can disconnect the electric shift and you can slide the bed out manually, because it's the locking down mechanism that keeps the bed true, and that just stops automatically at the right spot. So we lock that down again. I like the fact that that's going to be up in the way if it's not locked. So I think I showed you before, we've got the little tool holder back in there. Everything about it seems pretty chunky. I'm happy with it so far. I'll get something on it perhaps this afternoon and have a bit of a play on it, and if I do that won't do a live because I'm not set up here for doing lives. The other thing I've got to do, I've got to get a bit of light up above it, which I haven't done, just so I can see a bit better. Yeah, so this is Big Willy, the Woodfast WL. That's like fingers down a blackboard, isn't it? I'll move that so that when I take a photograph in a minute, I can get the the full benefit of the knowing. Alright, once again I'll do a sign off again now. Thanks for watching. If you like this, like it. If you haven't subscribed and you feel inclined to do so, please do. And I will be getting more videos up doing my repurposing work. Most of it's going to be lathe work. Every now and then I've got a couple of little commissions that are not work, they're flat work with repurposed timber. A couple of small ones, and I make a few other items for markets and sales with recycled wood that I've found from around the place. Thanks very much for having a look. Take care, and I will see you all next time.